Numbers were predicated on the creation of a second foundation, remember?
So, who exactly is Hari Seldon? And is he really dead? If you've made it this far into Foundation on Apple TV+, then you already know that nothing involving Hari Seldon is ever that simple. Dead? Alive? Digital consciousness? Physical body? Cryosleep? He's done it all. And yet, there's still more to him than meets the eye. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host Spoiler Master. Let's take a deep dive into who Hari Seldon really is, how many versions of him exist, and whether or not he's finally met his end in Foundation Season 3.
Maybe they could help you!
Who is Hari Seldon? Let's start at the beginning. Hari Seldon was born on the planet Helicon, a rugged world where he was raised by moonshrike ranchers. His childhood wasn't exactly easy. He was brilliant from an early age. At 7, he folded a page from a book into a three-dimensional shape, realizing how a 3D object can cast a 2D shadow. His mother praised him for his creativity. His father? He slapped him for ruining a book. That moment kind of captures the duality of Hari's life, caught between vision and punishment, invention and backlash. As he grew, Hari began seeing patterns in everything, and not just patterns, but predictive patterns. He understood motion, probability, trends, mathematical structures most people couldn't even perceive. One time, he stood directly in the middle of a moonshrike stampede, and came out unharmed because he'd calculated their movements. His mother was terrified. His father slapped him again. Eventually, Hari found himself at Helicon University, already cooking up the earliest versions of psychohistory, the revolutionary science that would define his life. But this wasn't just some pet project. Hari realized something terrifying. The Galactic Empire was going to fall. And not just collapse, it would plunge the galaxy into a dark age lasting 30,000 years. Unless something was done.
I'm trying to soften the fall.
Goal of Hari. That's where the idea for the Foundation came in. Hari didn't believe he could stop the fall of the Empire, but he thought he could soften it. If humanity could preserve its collective knowledge, science, technology, philosophy, then maybe the Dark Age could be reduced to just 1,000 years. So he devised the Foundation, a scientific haven to preserve civilization. At first, the public goal was to create the Encyclopedia Galactica, a giant compendium of knowledge. But Hari had deeper motives. The encyclopedia was a smokescreen. The real goal? To manipulate the future, using psychohistory. Now, psychohistory isn't prophecy. It doesn't predict individual actions. It predicts the behavior of large populations, empires, civilizations. And Hari's math showed that collapse was inevitable. Naturally, this put him on the Empire's radar. The Cleon dynasty, the cloned emperors who ruled the galaxy, saw him as a threat, a revolutionary, a heretic. And that's when everything started to unravel.
There's a pattern. I figured out the map. I walked the pattern.
What happened to Hari? So, is Hari dead? Well, kind of. But also, not at all. In Season 1, Hari Seldon appears to be murdered. Rach, his adopted son, and Gal Dornick's lover, kills Hari right in front of her and launches her into space in a cryopod. Rach is executed for the murder, and it looks like Hari's story is over. But this is Hari Seldon we are talking about. Turns out, he'd planned his own death. He took a special pill packed with nanomachines that broke down his body and repurposed its elements to build the vault on Terminus. So even in death, Hari lives on, as a digital consciousness embedded in the vault. But wait, there's more. That wasn't the only version of Hari. The knife Rach used to kill him contained a data unit synchronized to a neural implant in Hari's brain. So when Gal Dornick ends up on the ship called the Raven, carrying that knife, it downloads another digital copy of Hari. This time, a version frozen in the exact moment of his death. Yeah, he relives being murdered. Again and again, until Gal helps him break out of that loop. And here's where things really get complicated. So we now have two versions of Hari, Vault Hari on Terminus, who's helping guide the first Foundation, and Raven Hari, who joins Gal and Salva Hardin to set up the second Foundation on Ignis. Two Foundations, two Hari Seldons, one plan. Except the plan? It's not exactly on track. The second Foundation was always meant to exist in secret, as a kind of guiding hand behind the scenes. a mentalic counterbalance to the first Foundation's science and tech. But Gal's unexpected actions and the death of Rach throw everything off course. That's when Hari starts to panic. He gets trapped in the Prime Radiant, the mathematical archive of psychohistory, and begins to lose himself. Gal has to rescue him, and with help from a mysterious entity named Collie, who appears in the form of Hari's late wife, Yana, he escapes and takes physical form once again. Wait, physical form? Yep, Hari somehow ends up with a new body. The details of how that happened are fuzzy, but it's implied that Collie, or whatever Collie really is, gave him a second chance.
Why, Hari?
Is he gone for good? Flash forward to Foundation Season 3. Gal and Hari go into cryosleep together, planning to wake up periodically to train the Mentalics on Ignis. But when Gal wakes up, decades have passed. Hari is old, frail, and nearing death once again. He didn't wake Gal earlier because he wanted her to conserve energy for the coming fight, especially against the Mule, a Mentalic with incredible powers who could destroy everything Hari has worked for. Hari spent those lost years training the Mentalics, trying to ready them for the future. And when Gal finally emerges, it's to say goodbye. Or maybe not even that. True to his nature, Hari doesn't announce his death. He just disappears. Quietly, without ceremony. No big farewell. No dramatic last words. It's very Hari Seldon. But here's the thing. Even if this version of Hari is gone, Foundation still has another Hari in play, the Vault Hari, who continues to operate on behalf of the First Foundation. That version of Hari doesn't even know about the Second Foundation. He doesn't know about the Raven, or the events on Ignis, or the Mule. He's a piece of a much older plan, one that's now way off script, but he's still very much active. In fact, he recently revealed his hand by helping save the residents of Terminus after the planet's supposed destruction. He even transported them to a new world, New Terminus, to continue the Foundation's mission. And get this, he even transferred a sliver of himself into Brother Constant, using her as a sort of Hari delivery system. That sliver was ultimately destroyed by the Cleon Emperors, but it shows just how many layers this man has built into his legacy.
You have no idea what you're doing!
Will he come back? So, is Hari Seldon dead? Yes. And no. The physical Hari who was born on Helicon, who developed psychohistory, who was murdered by Rach, he's gone. He died on the Deliverance, and that death was real. But through digital consciousness, cryosleep, cloning, and whatever mysterious powers Collie has, Hari has extended his reach far beyond a single lifespan. We've seen him in the Vault. We've seen him on the Raven. We've seen him trapped in the Prime Radiant. We've seen him reborn on Ignis, age, and die again. And who knows? With Collie in the picture, maybe we'll see him again.
Yes, good idea! That's what the Second Foundation was meant to be doing!
Our nerdy Thutes. That's the beauty and the tragedy of Hari Seldon. He built psychohistory to save the future, but in doing so, he lost touch with the present. He manipulated his loved ones, sacrificed his own humanity, and split himself across time and space, all to give humanity a chance at a better tomorrow. In Season 3, as he finally accepts death, there's a sense that his journey has come full circle. He's passed the torch to Gal Dornick, to Salva Hardin, to the Foundations themselves. And yet, with a Vault version still active, and the mysterious Collie lingering in the background, can we ever really count Hari Seldon out? Probably not. As long as psychohistory exists, as long as the Foundation continues, and as long as the Prime Radiant hums with possibility, there will always be a version of Hari Seldon out there, watching, waiting, calculating, and maybe, just maybe, saving us from ourselves. Let us know in the comments. Do you think we've seen the last of Hari Seldon? Or will he find yet another way to return? And if you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more deep dives into Foundation and all things sci-fi. Thanks for watching.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.